Here's an interesting fact that the problem that most people suffer nowadays is psychological malnutrition. It is so widespread that it goes almost unnoticed, cost our economy hundreds of crores of rupees each year. To understand this, first we need to understand three things: ego, ego food, and ego poison. Your ego is yourself. It is the most personal and most self-oriented part of your mind. Your ego is your underlying spiritual substance and regulates your mental state and self-esteem. Your ego shapes and modifies your attitude towards other people. It is by far the most sensitive part of your psychological and emotional structure. A broken body may be healed in weeks, but a damaged ego may never be cured. Now let's see what's ego food. It is mental nourishment that makes you feel better about yourself. It enlarges your self-worth and makes you feel important, useful, and needed. Ego food takes the form of praise, encouragement, and respect. Let's look at some examples of ego food. It lies in simple sentences like when a boss tells his employee, "You handled that customer like a professional." Or when a manager tells his worker that, "I appreciate you giving up your weekend. It helped us a lot to get back on schedule." Now let's see what's ego poison. It is the direct opposite of ego food. It consists of comments and actions. It makes you feel self-depreciated, unimportant, and useless. Now let's look at some examples of ego poison. It too lies in simple statements like when a boss tells his employee, "Anytime you want to quit, go ahead. You'll be easy to replace with someone much more efficient." Or when teacher tells his student like, "Your performance in class is awful. Shape up or I will have to set you back a grade." Now let's see what happens when we feed ego food versus what happens when we feed ego poison. See, when we feed ego food, it helps us make sales, win employee cooperation, gain love, gain support, relationship stability, in short, success. But when we feed ego poison, what happens is that customers won't do business, friends won't talk, kids rebel, employee dissatisfaction, relationship instability, in short, failure. Now to understand this better, let's try an experiment. Men, try this one. Assume you are married and assume also that your wife generally makes you breakfast. Tomorrow, go to the table, pick up the plate, smell the food, and then say as insulting as you can, "What the hell is this? It looks awful and smells even worse. I can't eat this. I'm going to grab some breakfast on my way to work." Now do that tomorrow morning and most probably you won't ever get breakfast again. Another approach to this is this. Go to the breakfast table and say something like, "Honey, this breakfast sure looks good and you do too. You really fix me a great breakfast every day and I really appreciate that. If you do this tomorrow morning, you will get a better breakfast the next day." The greater her ego will be fed, even greater effort on her part to please you. Now women, try this experiment. Let's assume you want your husband to do a special task for you this Sunday. When he is finished, inspect his work and give him some ego poison like, "This looks awful. Why don't you arrange the things the way I told you? That 8-year-old boy across the street could have done a better job." Now do this and the next time you want his help, he will clearly say you no or tell you to do it yourself in a less than polite language. Now let's assume he didn't complete the work in the way you told him to and you give him some ego food. You tell him, "Thanks a lot for taking care of these. It looks great, but help me to move those boxes over there." Do this and the next time he will voluntarily come to help you. Learning about ego food and ego poison can help you accomplish a lot more in life. Peace.